The China-United States trade war is an ongoing economic conflict between the world's two largest national economies, China and the United States. According to the Voice of America, US-China trade war is good news for some countries. Today, our guest, Mr. Emmanuel Okafor, a 400-level student of the Department of Economics, UNIZIK University, Oka, will tell us what this is all about.
My name is Emmanuel Okafor from the Department of Economics, UNIZIK University, Oka, Nigeria.
What actually is the meaning of this trade war? What is it all about?
Okay. The trade war between the US and China is simply a series of trade barriers being effected by both countries in the form of tariffs, counter tariffs, and as well as retaliatory tariffs, wherein the imports of both countries are being discouraged by both countries themselves. And also, it started as a form of a retaliation by the US on what it terms unfair trade practices by China, wherein it claims that there was a forced transfer of technology by US firms to China. Also, it claims there's been a series of intellectual property theft by Chinese government. Also, it claims that the industrial subsidies policy by China has been unfair towards the US, and also there's been intentional manipulation of the currency of China, which is the Chinese yuan.
This trade war started. What impact have this trade war created in both the United States economy and the China economy?
Well, I'd say that the impact on both economies has been mostly negative. For instance, in the US, the farmers have been hit the most. They've been hurt the most by this trade war between Washington and Beijing. We've had, according to the American Farm Bureau, which is an agency of the US, exports of US goods, agricultural produce mainly, to Chinese has slowed down from around $24 billion in 2014 to so around $9.1 billion in 2018. Also, there's been increased farm bankruptcies in the US. Also, the consumers in the US have also had to pay a huge price as a result of this US-China trade war by paying higher prices for their consumption. Economies of Asia has experienced a sort of a slowing growth rate in their GDP. The big countries like Japan and China, they've experienced some slowing growth rate in their GDP. Also, the smaller countries like Singapore and Hong Kong, they face a risk of recession. Of course, in the case of Hong Kong, we've also had the issue of the protest that is ongoing. Also, the GDP growth of China for 2019, that was the second quarter of 2019, was 6.2%, which is the slowest it's been since the early 1990s. And again, we've had firstly, you should know that the Chinese export to US marks around 20% of their exports.
Now, according to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, it says that the United States is gaining from the trade war more than China. You know, that's my own phrase of what they actually said. So can you tell us, in your opinion, who do you think is gaining from this trade war, the United States or the China?
Well, I like to state that I wouldn't say that anybody is gaining from the trade war. It's been mostly a negative and unnecessary trade war. But however, I would like to side with some experts here now that from the West mostly, that have said that there can be no winner to this trade war. Up until September 1st, which was the day before yesterday, we've had the US placing tariff on around $250 billion worth of Chinese goods, and China, on the other hand, placing some retaliatory tariffs of around $110 billion on US goods. However, on September 1st, which was the day before yesterday, the US placed a tariff of 15% on $125 billion worth of Chinese goods, and China retaliated by increasing the tariff on already existing $75 billion worth of US goods, and also placing a levy of 5% on US oil imports, which marked the first time that the fuel had been targeted. President Trump had initially announced that there was going to be a tariff on $300 billion worth of Chinese goods. But however, this plan was suspended temporarily. So by October 1st, there's going to be tariff on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods, a 25% tariff actually, which is going to be increased to a 30% tariff by December 15. So by December, there would have been a tariff by the US on around $540 billion worth of Chinese goods. And also, all through this trade war, we've had China pushing for talks, pressing for talks, trying to send delegates to the US to see how this issue can be resolved. So with all these points, I can safely say that even though there can be no winner to the war, but however, maybe China is feeling the heat more.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. So far, you have been feeding us with very important information on this trending issue of the trade war between United States of America and the People's Republic of China. And on a final note, can you tell us if there is any impact this US-China trade war has on the world's economy? So what impact will it actually have, or is it already having on the world's economy?
Yes, exactly. It is already having a major impact on the world economy, basically through uncertainties surrounding the world economies. Countries are, should I say, not certain if or to what extent this war can impact the economies in terms of their stock markets and international trading. In Europe, there's been evidence of a decreasing foreign direct investment, most especially in Germany. But however, Germany continues to maintain a good relationship with both the US and China. But there's also been some positives for a select few countries, countries like Vietnam, countries like Malaysia, Mexico, Argentina, and the likes, including Singapore and the likes. They've sort of benefited from this trade war. And how is that? What we have the US placing a ban or a tariff, so to say, on some Chinese goods being imported to the US. We have a void, a vacancy that has to be filled by countries. So we have countries like Vietnam supplying these goods that were previously being supplied by China to the US. And also when China places a tariff on some US goods, then we have countries like Malaysia, Argentina and the likes coming in to supply these goods to China.
Okay, finally, do you think Nigeria, our own country, should be concerned in this whole trade war thing?
Well, like I said before, I think the war is steadily, or the trade war rather, is steadily being felt worldwide. So probably eventually it might trickle down to Nigeria, but I can't say. But one thing I do know is that Nigeria maintains a sort of a trade relationship with both US and China. So I don't know, maybe probably the US can pose a sort of the same front with Nigeria like it's taking with China in terms of reducing the imports into the US. Now it's important to note that the US is the world's largest importer, while China on the other hand is the world's largest exporter. Maybe eventually, probably, the effect might just be felt in Nigeria and in our stock exchange.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah.